first time that I heard about Prem Rawat, it was, I think, 3 years ago. There was a friend of mine in Denmark who said, "Would you like to come with me to Barcelona? I will pay for everything." Why? Yes, because there's a man. I want you to hear him speak. You want to pay everything for me to go to Barcelona to hear a person speak? That must be a very special man. And ladies and gentlemen, you will see for yourself. Prem Rawat, please enter the stage. And now we're going to hear your keynote speak of the evening.
Thank you. I would like to keep it fairly short. I know it's been a long day for everyone. Short is good. And today I'd like to begin again with a little story. Because I think what's happening here is incredibly noble, incredibly profound. But at the same time, we cannot forget the importance of peace. Without peace tying the fabric together, I'm afraid everything we do will eventually come undone. Because if people are going to be just engaged in their little silly understandings, in their little worlds, in their little greed, in their little problems, I'm afraid that what we see today, the world in this jaws, in the paws, in the claws of so much anger, so much war, that there is really nothing there to stop that from happening again, except for peace. So the story goes something like this. It's from an old time. So there was a king. And this king was very fascinated about heaven and about hell. It just so happened that the king had to go and have a fight, a war with the neighboring king. So in this, he prepared himself, but as he did all night long, he's thinking, if I die, am I going to go to heaven? Am I going to go to hell? If am I going to go to heaven? Am I going to go to hell? And then all of a sudden it dawned on him that he didn't really know what heaven was, and he didn't really know what hell was. So now the question on his mind, what is heaven? What is hell? What is heaven? What is hell? The next morning he got all ready, mounted his horse, huge army behind him, off he goes. And he's thinking, what is heaven? What is hell? What is heaven? What is hell? He sees a wise man coming the other way, and he just thinks to himself, well, that looks like a wise man, and he must know what is heaven, what is hell. So he took his horse, galloped away, and stopped. The wise man said, hang on, I have a question for you. Wise man stopped. The king got off his horse. And the king said, tell me, what is heaven and what is hell? And the wise man said, listen, king, I don't have time for this. I was on my way, I was going somewhere. All of a sudden, you come in, you stop me, and you want to know what is heaven, what is hell? The king was furious. He hadn't slept very well the whole night. He has a simple little question, but here's the wise man The fight is going to begin, the battle is going to begin very shortly. And all he can tell him is he doesn't have time for him. The king said, do you know who I am? I am the king. All I wanted from you was for you to tell me two simple little things. You pretend to be wise. You're dressed as a wise man. You look like you are a wise man. And yet you refuse to help me? I mean, furious. I'm not putting on the voice, otherwise I think I'll blow out the PA system. The wise man looked at the king and he said, King, now you are in hell. The king realized, wow, this guy is wise. I am feeling pretty bad. This is hell. This is profound. All of a sudden, he turns to the wise man and he says, oh my God, you've opened my eyes. Thank you so much. This had such a profound change on me. Oh, thank you. And the wise man said, King, now you are in heaven. In a way, all our efforts that we are trying to make, whether it is sustainability, whether it is to feed the hungry, whether it is to bring clean water, in our own little way, we want to create a little heaven right here on earth. And who will ever blame us for thinking so wildly? Because that is a wild vision. To want to create a little heaven for us and for our fellow beings. And to leave a legacy of that heaven for the generations yet to come. So they keep on living the dream of creating the little heaven in their time, for the time ahead of them. It is true, one day, I mean, this is still in billions of years down the road, this earth won't be there. This earth won't be there. Human species, as we know it, on planet Earth, will no longer exist. What are we doing? What are we doing not understanding and recognizing and embracing humanity? When I see a bee going from flower to flower to flower to flower to flower, all I can say is, you know what to do. You're not confused. You're not asking the bumblebee, what should I do? Bumblebee is doing its own thing, you are doing your own thing, and you may have a much smaller brain than I do, I hope, but you can get confused a lot less than I do. Because you know. When human beings have abandoned humanity, when human beings have abandoned the very core that holds them together, that glues us all together, which is peace, for ideas such as mutually assured destruction, I find that really funny for some reason, mad. If I die, I'll kill you just before you kill me. Does it work? I don't know. I guess nobody had tried a different approach. And this is the approach people came up with. Justifications that we have been fighting on the face of this earth for a really, really long time. So somehow, because we've been doing it a really long time, it's okay. It's like your kid who won't stop wearing diapers. And there he is, 50 years old, the president of a country, and shows up with the diapers. And it's okay, because he has worn them all his life. There is a point where we have to evolve, where we have to say, I am a human being and I have responsibilities. Call to action, pledge to peace, the Water and Food Awards, to go to human beings, to recognize their needs, not coming there. One of the foundations that I have, the Prem Rawat Foundation, their basic principle, their logo, their call is dignity, peace, and prosperity. Whatever we do, we cannot have so much arrogance in it. We know something you don't know, so listen, here we go. No, not with arrogance, but with humility we have to approach. The sustainability has been proven that to be sustainable, you have to be humble. Arrogance only goes so far. After that, arrogance has a dead stop. To understand each other, to understand that the goals fundamentally of every human being on the face of this earth are to be happy, to enjoy dignity, have peace, and ultimately have prosperity. The formula, peace and then prosperity, was written out a long, long time ago. Today, we have so much, and yet we have so little. We don't understand what it means to share. We don't. All we can come up with our knowledge, with our education, is how it cannot happen. People say, when I go and I talk to people about peace, they tell me, and this is what they've been telling me for a long time. You know, starting at 4 years of age, talking about peace is no joke. It really is not a joke. And one of the weirdest things that happened, that I saw happening, was people were making up lies. And here's a 4-year-old, 5-year-old, 6-year-old, 7-year-old, I've never taken a break from it, would go, why are you saying those things? Why are you saying those things? Today, when I meet those critics, this is what I have to say to them, very humbly. Okay, with your knowledge, with your understanding, with your expertise, you have come up with a outlook of why it won't happen. I invite you now to come up how to make it happen. And this is the critical thinking. Right now, the blame mode is on. Everybody wants to blame somebody else. It's the corporations. It's the governments. It's the this. It's my neighbors. It's the Indians. It's the Chinese. It's the Americans. It's the South Americans. And for me, please, stop the blaming. We all live on the same world. We see these barriers that don't exist. I don't know about you, but when I fly, I look down, you see, and I can see on the map on the airplane where I'm crossing a barrier, and I look down, and there is none. There is none. These are all arbitrary barriers that have been created, and everybody strongly believes in them. And sometimes I feel, I don't know if you know about this little collar they have for dogs. You put them on, they're electronic collars, and if the dog moves too far from the house, it gives him a jolt and he comes back. I mean, it's like, that's what's happened to us, but we don't have a collar. It's an automatic jolt. Oh my God, I'm somewhere else. Well, I can assure you that immigration is not going to go away, and I can assure you that these boundaries are not going to drop off. But do they have to be in our hearts too? Really, they have to be in our hearts too? Do they have to be in our understanding too? Because look, when this planet suffers, we are all going to suffer. We cannot afford to cut the same branch we are sitting on. And this is what is happening. And it keeps happening again and again and again. When there is prosperity, everybody forgets. And then when the troubled time comes, everybody goes, ooh, spooky, 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 spooky. Today we talk about global warming, and that is absolutely, in my humble opinion, absolutely the wrong word to use. Global warming. I know it's scientifically correct and everything else, but it really should have been called weather anomaly. Because if it was called weather anomaly, a lot more people would go, yep, that's pretty abnormal. But today what people do is they go, warming? It's cold! And so it becomes a joke for people. It cannot be. Really, people have to be awakened all around the world to the cause that we all share. I have a voice that has been used to bring the message of peace to many, many people for a long, long time. I would also like, as a person, I also felt the responsibility that people need to be educated, and I created the Prem Rawat Foundation. I have been able to be a part of the Water and Food Awards, and all of these things are really just a big, big pie of the same thing, the peace. Different manifestations for the people around the world. Because I think when people start to say, well, peace is their job, and this is our job, and this is our job, then all we are doing is dividing people even more. No, I invite every single human being on the face of this earth to participate, whoever you are, to participate in helping to bring peace on this earth. I invite every single human being to participate, to alleviate each other's misery of the basic items that we need. We need good shelter. We need clean air. Please, we need clean air. We need clean, good, nutritious, sustainable food. And we need to stop completely contaminating and overusing the most incredible resource that we have, that is water. 70%, this earth is water, 70%, you are water. When you waste water, you waste yourself. And this is what keeps on happening in this world. Am I a good deed doer? I would never like to say that, never like to think that, because it is not about just doing good deeds. It says humanitarian. Do you know what that means? Do you think this is about a charity? No, this has to come from the deepest, most heartfelt place. It has to come with a recognition. It isn't something that you're going to do in your spare time, so you have something to say in case you end up in heaven and the guy goes, have you done something good? So you can say, yeah, I was involved with Water and Food Award. No. This is about creating heaven here. See? And that's one of the big problems we have. Everybody's like, oh, when I die, I'll get to heaven. Can we have heaven here, please? First. Not have violence, which everybody resorts to violence. Why? I thought we could talk. No. First thing, violence. Violence against wife, violence against children, violence against each other. I mean, okay, enough. You've done it. It's like a bad teenage kid. Now you have to grow up. It's time to really grow up. When I see the efforts being made by an 11-year-old, I commend that. It's incredible. I too was an 11-year-old once. See? But I also see my time isn't over and his time has begun. So, we both get to walk on that road. Not when people say, oh, this is only for the young people. No, it's not. If you've got one more day to live, you're on. You're on. If you're 99, you're on. This is about living human beings, living for the living planet, taking from the living planet what it wants to offer us, not by force, making sure that this living planet heals so that it can go on to abundantly give till it can. It is being the gardener. It is being the gardener. And this is what we have to be. Peace will always be an important factor. Generosity will always be an important factor. And knowledge will be always an important factor, because knowledge is the only thing that can remove the stupid ignorance. So, not blaming, but taking action, having this opportunity in our lives, and being a part of this incredibly noble cause. So I applaud all of you. Thank you very much.